This is Jerod Lakefield, a novel by Don Fensler, part number 44. Trying to stop it. The next day was a typically warm December day in San Diego, except, and this is a big fucking except, there was a soft billowing fog that enveloped the whole city. You couldn't see more than 10 feet in front of you. It was like the whole world had shrunk to a 10 by 10 by 10 foot box, and yet the walls of the box seemed infinite and unending. To say the weather in San Diego that day was weird would be the fucking understatement of all time. Jennifer and I knew we had to stop the game tomorrow night. It sounded like Jerod's life was at stake, but how could we do it? If we told people why, what we had experienced last night, as I mentioned earlier, we would be put in the nearest fucking state facility. Plus, Jed had said we should say nothing about it. And should we even stop it? Jerod seemed to be moving towards something that seemingly needed to happen. But logic and common sense, not our hearts certainly, told us we had to try to stop the game. I went to Clarence Bales, the Clappers GM. I needed to tell him I was worried about the game today, but not be too specific or he would call the police and I would have to provide fucking details I did not fucking have. But on the plus side, I was really nervous about talking to Clarence, but on the plus side, I always felt comfortable with Clarence. For one thing, he was black and also from the Midwest. Again, I knew I could not tell the truth about what happened in Jerod's apartment, so I stuck with saying things like, I have a bad feeling. And Mr. Beale said, what kind of bad feelings? And I said, Jerod seems worried. I saw the look of perplexity on Mr. Veal's face, so I added, things are getting crazy around Jerod. There's never been anything like this in sports. An athlete that is thought to be almost godlike. It feels dangerous, Mr. Beals. The irony in my own words did not escape me, as I always believed that Jerod Lakefield to be a divine being, if not the divine being. Beals again looked at me like I was something both the cat and the dung beetle had dragged in. He was too nice a guy to throw me out by the fucking seat of my pants, but I could tell by the look in his eyes he thought I had lost it. I don't know what the heck brought this on, Miss Shawn, he said. You come in here and talk to me, but unless you can tell me something more concrete, this sounds nuts. I know it sounds nuts, sir, I said. You have to understand that Jerod Lakefield is so much more than a basketball player. I've been around him since all this started over a year ago. He is not like the rest of us. He knows so much more than the rest of us. He knows some big secret. I feel it. You've been with him. Don't you feel something is different with Jerod? I'll admit it takes cool to a whole new level, Bill said, being around seeing Jerod Lakefield, but I don't know what you mean with all this feeling talk. Maybe you need a vacation. See the game tonight and then take a few days away from us. You've earned it. Like you said, this is all so crazy, like it's making us all a little crazy. He paused as if to emphasize that some of us had gotten crazier than others. He then added, the Clapper organization is not used to being talked about, to be the most talked about team in the country, that's for sure. I'm sorry, Mr. Beals, I said lamely. I just have a bad feeling. Everything will be fine, he said, like a father talking to his 6-year-old son. I knew I was getting nowhere with Clarence, a very good guy. Could you have a few extra security people around at least in today's game, I asked. Sure, said Bill. As soon as you started talking, that thought popped into my head. Let's have more security. Since Jerod Lakefield joined the team, we are living in an entirely new world. It would be common sense to have more security at our games now. This is some trip we're on, isn't it, Miss Shawn, huh? Couple young, good-looking black dudes like us, we've hit the jackpot. Jackpot. Common sense. I laughed. There was nothing else I could do, and said, you don't know the half of it, sir. I paused and tried to lighten the mood and said, I didn't know you were black. Why didn't you tell me? Clarence laughed and smiled, but the smile soon disappeared, replaced by a very serious, worried look on his face as I left his office, but I knew the worry was more about me than about Jerod Lakefield. GM. I will not weary you with my further attempts to get the game postponed. They were futile and, to be honest, half-hearted. There was something that made me feel we had to let this game go forward, no matter what happened, no matter what would happen. I knew it was Jerod Lakefield that made me feel this way. His aura, his bearing, his spirit, and his fucking destiny, whatever you fucking wanted to call it. Whatever was going to happen was going to happen, and I knew that in the depth of my soul, nothing was going to stop it. Logic and common sense meant nothing now, and I had given up trying to fight it. One of the problems, of course, was that I am basically a nobody. People are nice to me, like me, maybe even respect me, They maybe even respect me. But even with that, and my attempts to tell myself otherwise, I know I'm a nobody. A big fucking nobody. Zilch. Surrounded by 16 dozen other zeros. I have never done anything really noteworthy, either good or bad. My greatest claim to fame is I am Jerod Lakefield's sidekick. Even though we really never get any kicks. I am a hanger-on, a gopher, a moocher. Somehow he chose me. For some reason I was chosen to be with him and witness all he had done, and from the very beginning. I am not a particularly good companion for him, in my opinion. Most of the time with Jerod Lakefield, I feel shy and overwhelmed and tongue-tied. I don't know what to say. Jerod Lakefield seems to understand this and tries to put me at ease, but it's to no avail. I'm in awe of Jerod Lakefield. But Jerod does not seem to mind at all my shyness or the fact I'm a nobody. And I know my wife is in love with him, but not in the way she is in love with me. It is not a romantic love, though Jennifer may think it is. It's something far higher, a love far beyond what this world can know or understand. I feel no jealousy. I feel only great joy and great sadness at the same time that I am a part of it, that Jennifer and I are both a part of this, whatever this is, and that the love of my life, Jennifer, is with me every day. The sadness, again, is that persistent and overwhelming feeling that something is going to take Jerod Lakefield away someday, that it will be all over. Jennifer was initially upset with me that I hadn't got the game postponed. She said we should call the police, but her protests were, like mine, half-hearted. She also knew something was supposed to happen tonight, and it was not our place to stop it. What happened last night in Jerod Lakefield's apartment was not of this world, nor was what was going to happen tonight. We had no idea what was going to happen. It was just a feeling, a deep, profound premonition that something big was about to happen.